I, 34 male, have been married to Alicia, 34 female, for 7 years. If there was one thing that I would never have predicted about our marriage, it's that the reason we would end up separating is because she would cheat on me. That's what happened though. I watched my parents divorce when I was about 9 years old, and it was messy. I hated how it happened, and ever since then, I really have been opposed to the idea of divorce. Even though we chose not to have kids, it is still something that I didn't want to have to happen to us. Obviously, I won't stay in a relationship where I'm clearly being effed over, but I always told myself I would do what I can to make sure that things work. That was the approach I took with Alicia. We went on vacations, even if it was just to another city in the country, at least twice a year. I would take her on a romantic date once a month, and that's something that I'm proud to say that I've maintained, with only a few exceptions, for the whole 7 years of marriage. I also buy her great gifts on special occasions, but also random gifts when I just want to show her how much I love her. I've always been open to exploring new things that she might want to try in the bedroom, though she's relatively a conservative person in that regard. I communicated effectively and calmly, and I always listened carefully when she had something to complain about. My point is that I did it all right. In the end, I've learned through my own experience and other people's stories that you can never blame yourself for being cheated on. A cheater can choose to start a divorce or break up if things ever get to a point where they feel like the next move is to cheat. Alicia cheated on me, and I found out because she fell asleep in the bedroom while in a conversation with her affair partner. Her thumb was still on the screen, so it was still on. I wanted to take it out of her hand, turn off the screen, and put it on her wireless charger, but when I took it out of her hand, I got curious. She was talking to someone named Justin, and the last message that person sent was asking if she was still awake. I took a quick peek higher up in the messages, and from there, I was able to see that she was having really inappropriate conversations with him that very night. They were sexting. There really isn't any other way to put it. There were no pictures sent or anything, but it was already a major line crossed. In fact, that alone would have been enough for me to end things with her. I decided to keep reading though, and that's when I saw that the two of them had been in contact with each other for at least 2 months. I don't know where she met him, but I could see that the relationship was sexual from the very start. I didn't even need to wonder whether it stayed virtual the entire time. In his texts, he thanked her for coming over at a point, and he said that he'd love to see her again. That was all that I needed to see. I realized that she had a full-blown affair going on, not even a one-night stand. It had gone past her phone, too. The worst part was how I knew nothing of all of that. I had no idea that the person I was married to had been cheating on me, with no intention of stopping. The fact that she had fallen asleep sexting with the guy was the insult to injury. I explored the entire chat thread, and I made sure to take pictures of some parts to back up the exported file. I was so tempted to shake her awake right there. I knew there was a very big chance that I was going to mess things up if I did that. I considered getting a PI first before I confronted her, but from their messages, it didn't seem like he was someone she met up with often, and I didn't have the money to have a PI surveil her for that long. I knew that I was going to reach out to a divorce lawyer, and once I did that and had the divorce papers ready to be served, it would be the perfect time for me to confront her and hear what she had to say about cheating on me. The next day, I tried to keep my mood up around her, but she knew that something was wrong and she kept asking. I kept deflecting. Part of me wondered if she realized that she had fallen asleep texting Justin when she woke up, saw that her phone was charging. Maybe she assumed that I must have seen it because she asked me what was up way too many times. Eventually, I just lied that there was an issue at work and I made up a story so that she'd leave me alone. The next time I went to work, I made sure to stop by a divorce lawyer's place first. When I explained the entire situation, he made it clear that we lived in a no-fault state, so the chance of me getting the proof of infidelity to sway the judgment would be slim. He said that it might go in my favor because of that, but she would still walk away with something. I wonder what the point of marriage is when, as men, we get effed over so easily, even when we have proof that we did nothing wrong. She'll walk away with half of what I've worked my life to gain, even if she's a cheating whore? Kudos to the judicial system for that. Towards the end of the work week, the divorce papers were ready, and I arranged with my lawyer to ensure that we would be served to her in the night, after my planned confrontation with her in the evening. When I got back home from work that evening, I met her at home and I told her that I needed to talk to her about something. She seemed concerned, and I admitted that I had lied when I told her that there was an issue at work. The first thing she says was, "You lied to me?" And that annoyed me, because it was very hypocritical considering what I was about to confront her about. I nodded and I told her that she'd understand why. I told her that I knew that she had been cheating on me. I told her that I knew about Justin and what they had been up to. I saw her react when I mentioned that, but she tried to regain her composure. I told her that I had done way too much for her, and I had loved her way too much for her to choose to repay me by cheating on me. I didn't deserve it, and I asked her why she had done it.
"Oh, so you checked my phone?"
was the next thing she said, and oddly, she seemed annoyed by that. I told her that I did, because she had fallen asleep while sexting Justin. She said that I didn't have the right to go through her phone. I told her that I did, because we were married, and we were supposed to have nothing to hide from each other. I don't know if she thought it was some kind of gotcha, but she laughed and asked me to let her go through my phone if I was so sure of that. Without hesitation, I stretched it out to her, because I knew for a fact that I wasn't like her. I didn't have a single inappropriate conversation with anyone. She didn't take the phone from me because I know that down deep, she knew that I was a good husband and I wasn't messing with anyone else. I told her that she hadn't said anything about why she had cheated on me. That was what I wanted to know. She said it didn't matter because I'd already chosen to make her the villain. I was baffled by how stupid that sounded. I let her know that she was the villain because there wasn't a good reason she could give. She didn't cheat on me to save someone's life. She did it because she was horny. She liked the attention, or both. She said I could tell myself whatever.
"Do you even understand what you read?"
was her next angle, and I was getting annoyed by how stupid things were. She was making horrible arguments to defend herself, and it was sad. For someone who was trying to act so unremorseful about her cheating, it would have been better if she just owned up to it and stopped trying to be so defensive. I started to wonder how I had even fallen in love with her. I asked her again why she had cheated on me, and that was when she finally gave me an answer. According to her, she did it because I wasn't pleasing her the way she wanted to be pleased. I told her that was a lie. Even if she had been faking things from the first day that we got married, that was a lot of faking to do. I had been open to trying anything she wanted to do in the bedroom. I have always been vocal to make sure she's not in pain and to know if I can do anything different. She's always been conservative, and she's never had any suggestions for new things to try. When I try new things, the moment is too different, and she shies away. And now she was trying to say that was the reason she chose to sleep with someone else. I told her that she was a BSer right there. I told her that she was villain as F, and that if she wasn't, she did a horrible job showing it. I had always been open to spicing things up. She was the one who hadn't been. When she said,
"Well, he makes me feel better than you do,"
I had to hold myself back from losing my mind on her. That's not something any guy wants to hear. It could be true, but I doubted it. And even if it was, she was saying it primarily to hurt me. At that point, I told her that she could believe what she wanted to believe. But at the end of the day, it was her loss. I let her know that I was going to divorce her, and she was going to regret it. The funny thing is that her voice was quivering, and I could see that she was about to cry. But that didn't stop her from being a witch. She told me that it was my loss. She said that she had made a mistake, I was making a big deal out of it, and that at the end of the day, I was the one who was going to be miserable. She said that I knew that she was out of my league from the very start, and I was never going to find someone who would treat me the way she treated me. I said that if cheating was the part of the way she treated me, I would be happy to never meet anyone like her again. I told her that she was just angry that she was being dumped, but there was no point being that mad since she always had Justin to run to. She told me to F off, and I laughed. Our argument went on for a very long time, and when the door rang, I told her it was for her. I watched her as she went to the door and collected the divorce papers. She didn't really react, but that wasn't surprising. Our whole fight made it clear that things were going the way of the divorce. She wasn't caught off guard by it. I told her that she had to be out of the house by the next day. She said, "Or what?" I realized that with the way she was behaving, it would probably be impossible to get her out of the house. That was the frustrating part to me. She stood up and left the room at that point. She locked herself in our bedroom, which was annoying because, as the person who was cheating, it was crazy that she was acting like she was somehow the one on the right. I slept in the guest room that night. Ever since then, the two of us have been living in the same house. To say that it is awkward would be an understatement, because in a week, we have probably spoken to each other less than 20 words to one another. She has signed the divorce papers, thankfully, so we will be able to move on with that process soon. I've also gotten myself tested because I was still sleeping with her after she started her affair. Thankfully, I'm free of any diseases. Had I not been, that would have been an extra angle for me to destroy her from. She's lucky that I just managed to dodge catching anything from her and her affair partner. At this point, I'll just have to try my best to get the upper hand in the divorce. My lawyer has told me not to expect too much, and I've kept that in mind. I hope to keep the house at the very least because the chances I'll end up paying alimony are high, and I don't want to lose on both counts. I'll be back with an update on this as soon as I can be. Her excuse that she cheated because you weren't pleasing her enough? Hilarious. She's been conservative in bed for 7 years, but suddenly she's Mother Teresa of getting boned? Girl didn't want adventure, she wanted validation. Let's not skip her "I'm out of your league" comment. Out of your league? Absolutely. She belongs in the minor leagues of desperate. She can keep the loser with the late night, "You up?" texts. Update. This update is well overdue, but it is here now, and I think that's what matters the most. A quick recap of my previous post, if you don't want to read it in full, is that I discovered that my wife, Alicia, was cheating on me because she fell asleep sexting her affair partner, and I saw it. I confronted her about it. She was extremely defensive, letting me know that I'd be miserable without her and claiming that I didn't satisfy her enough in bed. I had her served with papers. I told her to move out of the house. She refused, and the two of us lived there from the point of confrontation all the way to the divorce judgment. Now, on to the divorce itself. That went very similarly to how my lawyer told me that it would. She was bitter, so there was no hope for us to come to an agreement. That was fine, though, because I was ready for court. As you know, I wasn't able to sway the judgment much with the proof that her infidelity was the reason I was ending the marriage. I really hope that one day, laws regarding divorces and infidelity change, especially when there's proof that one partner was cheating. The judge awarded me the house, which was the major thing that I wanted. Of course, I'll have to get it refinanced and give her a cut of the value of the house, but that's fine. I have to pay alimony, but the good part is that I only have to pay her alimony for about 4 years. I'll take that, considering that I wasn't going to be able to avoid it anyway, thanks to the way our judicial system treats us men. After the divorce, I remember she tried to catch up with me and gloat about the alimony, but I just ignored her. It did get to me, though, because I was annoyed that she had gotten anything from me after ruining our marriage and ruining my life to some degree. I'm in my mid-30s, and if I want to give love another try, I'm going to have to start from scratch. That's not very encouraging to me. Anyway, here's the fun part of the whole thing. I didn't want to make my revenge the typical type where I tell everyone she knows the details of our divorce, or the kind where I make sure that she loses her job somehow. I couldn't even get at her affair partner because I didn't know anything about him besides his first name. I wasn't even sure that if he knew that she was married, so it wasn't worth me spending the money and time to try to figure out who he might be. Instead, I decided to focus on her, and I was going to do it while enjoying myself. Although I was paying alimony, I planned to sell the house entirely and move to a smaller place that was better suited for me. That way, I'd have some extra money to play around with every month. I started by going on a trip to Japan. It was very spontaneous, but it is something that I've wanted to do for the longest time, and I knew that it would be a good way to get my mind off of the divorce and feel better about myself. Honestly, it was one of the best experiences of my life, and I made sure to share plenty of pictures online. When I came back, I realized that my favorite rock band was on tour and was going to pass through another city in a week. They were going to pass through my city too, but that was about a month later, and I refused to wait, so I went. I posted several pictures from that too. To be honest, I wasn't being very financially prudent, but I didn't care. I was having fun. I went to a supercar driving experience too, which is something that I've always wanted to do, and she knew that as well. I realized that I wasn't going to let Alicia have any impact on my happiness, and to be quite honest, I was able to be the complete opposite of miserable because of her. I think the one thing that finally pushed her over the edge was when a female friend invited me to try a new restaurant that had opened in our city. I decided to go with her, and when I took a picture of the meals, it was clear that I went with someone. In some of the pictures, you could see that the person on the other side of me had manicured nails. That must have been what triggered Alicia because I woke up to a message from her the next morning. This was the longest conversation we had had since we divorced. She asked me how I was doing, and I let her know that I was fine. She asked me what I had been up to recently, and I told her work. She said, "Is that all?" And I could tell that she was trying to dig. I maintained that was all. She said that she had seen that I was having a lot of fun recently, and I told her that I was. I let her know that you could never tell which direction life would take you, so it was best to always enjoy yourself. She said that she had something really important that she wanted to tell me, and she asked if I'd be willing to meet up with her. I didn't want to be honest, but I wanted to hear what she had to say, and I'm glad that I chose to meet her. We met up at McDonald's a few days later, and compared to the person who had been defensive and snarky when I confronted her, she seemed so passive and well-behaved. It was something amusing to me. I asked her what she had to say before she could start any small talk. She was taken aback by that, but I didn't shake me from my position. I wasn't going to be nice to her, no matter how innocent she was trying to act.
I've been doing a lot of thinking.
The moment that I heard that, I already knew where it was going, and to be honest, I was very satisfied inside. I knew that I was going to enjoy it. She wanted to tell me that she realized that she had handled my confrontation really badly. She said that she had done the wrong thing. She was hurt and embarrassed when she was caught, and she lashed out to save her own ego, instead of doing the right thing to save our marriage. She said that she had been hurt, that I went ahead with the divorce instead of trying to make things work, and that's why she was bitter during that too.
But when I saw you out there, living your best life, it reminded me of the man that I fell in love with. I can't believe that I threw that away. I want to give us another chance.
I knew that part was coming and I sat there quiet because I genuinely didn't know what I was meant to say in that moment. I knew that she wasn't going to sway me because I'm not stupid, but I was trying to figure out what I was meant to do next. It came to me suddenly. No way in hell. She was shocked to hear me say that. I don't know if she thought that she was going to win me over with that. She barely tried, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not one for making scenes, but I made an exception. I stood up and very loudly, I repeated myself and told her that there was no way in hell I'd get back with her. You cheated on me. When I confronted you, you were defensive and far from apologetic. I divorced you, and you said I'd be miserable. You saw me living my life and going on dates, and that's when you knew that you want me back? I'm not miserable without you, Alicia. Or something very similar to that was what I said. Her mouth was actually open and she was looking around in a panic. I saw she was about to stand up so she could bolt, but I moved out before her. When I did, I passed a few people with their phones out. Even if they caught me, I didn't care. As long as they captured her, I'm fine with it. I haven't come across any videos on the internet, but I hope they're out there somewhere. That was the last time we ever reached out to each other, and hopefully it will be the last time for good. I'm just happy I got the opportunity to hit back in my own way. I know it's not the biggest, most impressive way to get revenge, but for me, it works. I'm going to be taking a big break from women in serious relationships. Maybe one day I'll throw my hat back in that ring, but for now, I don't want to deal with this kind of headache. I'm glad it's over for the most part. Suddenly, she's soft-spoken, manicured remorse, and doing a lot of thinking. Yeah, that thinking probably started somewhere around the Instagram post with the feminine hand in frame. Nothing says self-reflection like jealousy mixed with the alimony envy. Do you have a similar story? Let us hear it. Share it with us in the comments. And thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.